What's up, guys? This is Coach Grant with First Down Training, and today we're going to be breaking down some of the best routes that you can run in one-on-one. So I hope this video helps you guys out. Hope it could teach you a few new things, but also, fellas, if you're a wide receiver and you would like to train with us this offseason, check out that very first link in the description below. We are coming out to 15 more states for 2-day-long QB and wide receiver camps. Next up, we'll be coming out to San Francisco, then Miami, Las Vegas, Charlotte, Portland, Dallas, Nashville, Chicago, Buffalo, Atlanta, Houston, Philly, Detroit, Boise, and Los Angeles. So again, if you guys would like some more information, want to know how you can sign up, what to expect at our camps, check out that very first link in the description below. We'd love to have you there. Let's get started with this video. So first route we're going to be talking about, and this is a great route for you guys to use anytime that you see off man in one-on-one. And guys, I want to make this clear. Any route can work properly in one-on-ones, but you have to know when to execute it, obviously, and you have to know how to make it realistic. I'm going to give you all realistic routes today. I'm not going to give you, 7-on-7, one-on-ones, triple move routes. These are going to be efficient routes that you guys can actually apply when the pads come on. Because when the pads come on and you're in a live game situation, one-on-one, you got to run whatever route that the coach calls, but you want to know how to run it efficiently. So first route is going to be a post corner. So to run a perfect post corner, there's a couple things that go into it. This is about as good as it gets with a post corner, and you obviously see this DB crashes down. So if you're seeing a lot of off-man coverage in one-on-ones, I recommend doing this because it's a great route to run against off-man coverage in a real game. So when we break to this post on any double move, whether it's a post corner, whether it's out and up, whether it's a sluggo, that first move, there are a couple key things that you have to do to sell it. Everybody thinks that it's just all about the eyes. You hear the phrase tossed around in the receiver community a lot, eyes will tell lies, right? But it's a lot more than just you peeking back and glancing at the quarterback. There are a few things that go into it. So when you break to that post, you number one got to have speed. I can't lose any speed. If you're running an actual post route, you have speed after the post break because you're trying to catch up to a ball. That's what we have to make it look like. That is the best thing that's going to get this DB to crash. So when we break, let's actually run. Let's pump my arms. Let's take long strides as well, which is the second thing. So I got to make sure that I'm running hard. I got to make sure that I have long strides and I'm actually gaining ground because, again, that puts that DB on alert. And then last but not least, you got to have eyes, but not only eyes, your hips and your shoulders have to be committed. I can't tell you how many times I've seen a double move locked up because guys will take choppy steps. DB doesn't believe it. Then guys will take full steps, but right before the break point, their hips and their shoulders are already out of this thing. Let's stay committed to the post with your hips, your shoulders, your eyes, your stride, everything, all the way into the last possible second. Let the cut be the thing that gets you out, and then let's go accelerate. When we got space and we got separation, that is dangerous and very, very tough to stop for a defense. So first route today that we're going over, post corner route. It's only 3 steps to the post. We have to commit, run in full stride, full speed, and that is what will get you open. Now, a second situation or second route I want to talk about here, this is more so like a move. You could use this on a post, an in, an out, or even a corner, but this is called a rocket step open field crossover. So it's more like, it's very similar to a rocker step. It's the steps on this are called rocket. So I'm going to spell it out for you. Rocket step. That's the steps that lead up into this crossover move. I'm sure all of you know what a crossover move is, but it is not a rocker step where you just do a 1-2 at the break. It's similar, but it's not that. And that's why I like this move a lot because it's kind of a change of pace at the break point. So you see Brandon Aiyuk coming out here. He does his rocket steps into a crossover, makes that DB slip, and then is able to win on this play in the end zone. So like I said, you use it on a post, a corner, an out, a dig. So what are rocket steps? Rocket steps are these like kind of chatter steps that he takes before he throws this move, right? So it's like the 4 steps he takes where he goes 1, 2, 3, 4. Then he throws this crossover to the outside. He throws that left, right fake. That's the crossover part of this. So those rocket steps just kind of change up the tempo on the DB. Rather than running at him and just doing a quick 1-2, those rocket steps kind of get him to alert. Those get him to maybe stop his feet, maybe get him to break down a little bit, and then we sell like we were running the corner route, the out route, whatever it might be with the crossover. So again, a rocket step crossover, open field crossover. We attack the DB, we're trying to step onto his toes, and you see when he throws that crossover, his hips, his shoulders. I teach my receivers, you want your belly button turning opposite of where you want to go when you throw a fake. You want to keep your toes pointed forward so you could drive out, but you turn those hips, turn that belly button to the outside because that's what can get the DB to jump, and that's what can get us space. So this is a rocket step open field crossover. Let's play this again, full speed one more time. Great job by Aiyuk showcasing this move, and that's how you get separation. Again, another great off coverage one-on-one route. So now, Another route that we're going to be going over is, again, we're going to go over a press route too here in a second, but this is another off coverage route that I like. And this is how you guys can use a rocker step when you have to run a dig versus inside shade off man. So the route I would say that you want to always try to apply if you're seeing a lot of off man coverage inside shade is a dig or a post. Anybody, guys, against off man inside shade could run an out, or could run a corner, could run anything to the outside. Anybody can. Can you run a post or a dig versus inside shade off man? I want the hard routes. You know what I mean? Because that's what stands out to a coach. Guys, if you're doing one-on-ones and your goal is just, I'm going to take the easy way out, that's not going to impress anybody, right? Like, I'm sure a lot of you guys listening to this are high school receivers, youth receivers, whether you've gone to a camp, whether you've gone to one of our camps, and our camps are very, very different. We're very much so like focused on developing guys. In a college camp, they do not care one bit. They are trying to find talent. Maybe they're mainly focused on the guys they already know. But if you want to turn some heads at a college camp, run a post or a dig versus inside shade off man and use this move that we're about to discuss. And that's going to turn a lot of heads. So let's watch what he does here. He comes off the ball, attacks the outside shoulder, gives this crossover move or a rocker step, if you will, after a little bit of a change in tempo. We don't necessarily need the change in tempo. I just like this crossover at the top. But the thing I want you to pay attention to most is his stem. So when he does this route, a lot of guys, when they see inside shade off man and they got to run an inside route, what they'll do is they'll do something called stem the DB, which means that they will angle the straightaway portion of the route, the stem, which is the straightaway portion. They will angle their stem at the DB's midline. They're going to try to attack him and step on his toes, attack his midline. But when you attack his midline, guys, the DB's leverage, and again, anytime that we're in a one-on-one situation, real game, one-on-ones, whatever it is, the DB's leverage tells us what he's trying to do. He's inside leverage. He's trying to prevent the inside route. He does not want to get beat to the inside. So the second you start to stem to the inside, he's going to keep that leverage. He's going to do something called a weave, which is just essentially like an angled back pedal, not allowing you to cut in front of his face. So if that's your game plan, that ain't going to work. You want to split the DB in half. You want to attack his outside shoulder and his outside hip, and that's what he does. So you see how he angles his stem at the outside. Why does he do that, by the way? Because, again, it's still man-to-man coverage, right? So he's still got a lot of ground to the outside to cover. So if we attack his outside shoulder, whether that's like me just running hard and I get his hips to flip and we slip under him, or whether that's me doing a crossover fake at the top of the route to get him to jump to the outside, that gets us space. And that's what turns heads. That's what makes you stand out. And that's one of the best routes that you can run in one-on-ones, guys. That's one of the best ones that you can use. So let's play this again, full speed one more time. So that's why he does it. It would be the same thing like, for example, you line up and you have outside shade off man. You attack his inside shoulder, flip his hips, slip under. Attack his inside shoulder, use a crossover, get him to jump, slip under. So I have plenty of spacing on the play. I'm away from other routes. Like if you have this slot receiver running another dig, like maybe his is at 8, yours at 10. Guys, at least you have some spacing now. You get rerouted way inside, you're right on top of the slot, and that is not good. It's not good spacing. Quarterback will not give us the ball. Okay, so next example. I would love to see this from all of you in one-on-ones. Is a fade route with an inside release. So I think this is something that could really mess with the DB because every receiver in one-on-ones wants to run a fade. Let me just go over the top. Let me run deep. But a lot of DBs, what you will see is you will see outside leverage, right? So if you see outside leverage press, what do we know that his goal is? His goal is to prevent the outside route. So his goal is to prevent the fade, the out route, the corner, the comeback. He wants to make it really, really awkward for us. And he probably has some kind of safety help to the inside. So if you have to run this fade and it's not an MOR, does anybody know what an MOR is? An MOR is a mandatory outside release. So if it's not a mandatory outside release, usually a mandatory outside release would be on a play where you have a fade and then we have a 5-yard out and we're trying to get the DB to turn his back so we could throw the 5-yard out. So that's okay when you force the outside release. But I would love to see receivers attack the DB, get him off his platform, and take the inside release and stack, giving the quarterback room to fade us. Because at the end of the day, guys, you just got to give the quarterback room to throw us open. So let's play this full speed. Let's watch what he does. Attacks the outside, takes the inside release, and again, you see gets skinny. He stacks, gives Joe Burrow room to throw him and fade him outside. It's called a fade route for a reason because the quarterback is trying to fade the ball over your outside shoulder. But if you're in that mindset of I have to run a fade route, and if I see outside shade, no matter what the route is, and like I said, unless it's an MOR, and your job or your goal is to fake to the inside and just force the outside release, that DB's going to get hands, and he's going to squeeze you all the way to that sideline. And when you don't have any room to the sideline, there is no room for the quarterback to fade us. You got to understand, when you run a fade and you give a quarterback a lot of room, that's an easy throw for him, guys. He can just put that thing on the sideline. And if you give him room, like give him 3 yards, 4 yards, 5 yards, easy throw for him, especially when he is talented and has the arm strength. So again, Chase, I would love to see everybody do this in a one-on-one setting. He attacks him. He closes the distance. He gets to his toes, makes him think that he's doing an outside release, so that DB jumps, takes the inside release. Now, this is where a lot of you will get in trouble. You'll do this and you'll take the inside release, but you'll run to the inside. You won't get skinny, which is essentially running hip to hip with the DB, running tight to the DB, so you won't be able to stack him. Guys, if we run this fade route with an inside release and this DB's right here, right on my hip, it's not good. That is when we can't do it, and that's when coaches will get on us. So if you guys do this, you better make sure that you get back over the top of him, and we want him trailing me. We want to stack him. This is a stack position, DB trailing our back hip. And if you can do that, you could take an inside release on a fade, unless, of course, it's a mandatory outside release. But this is a great example of that from Ja'Marr Chase. I think it's something that you guys should all try, especially if you're a slot receiver and you're working slot one-on-ones, because that's when a lot of DBs will play outside shade press. All right, fellas, really want to thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. If you have any questions at all, don't hesitate to leave those in the comment section below. Always appreciate the feedback. It's always great to hear from you guys. And again, fellas, if you'd like to come out and train with us, we are coming to 15 different states across the country. So check out that very first link in the description below. We're coming all the way from Chicago to Detroit to Charlotte, all over the place, fellas. So again, very first link in that description below. I'll see you guys next time.